The Demon Emperor's overwhelming attacks spread like a wild, chaotic force, mercilessly crashing into the Sea of Light, attempting to strike Mira in a deadly assault. The tyrannical and unparalleled demonic energy slammed against the Sea of Light. Whether it was the demonic aura or the light's radiance, both surged violently, creating ripples of destructive energy that spread in all directions, threatening to annihilate everything. The sheer force of the onslaught was deafening. "We should strike too." Xiao observed the evenly matched forces and immediately realized the critical situation the Demon Emperor was facing. If the Demon Emperor fell, it was likely that no one here would escape misfortune. Although the 7 White Wings were not the Demon Emperor's limit, the most crucial issue was that the Demon Emperor had not regained his peak power. "You all stay here and guard this place." The Devourer of Souls waved his hand, casting several eerie ghostly defense spells. Then, he and Xiao crossed the energy barrier, entering the reincarnation realm, officially joining the battle. This is the power of reincarnation. It will put immense pressure on you, especially since neither of them are ordinary reincarnations. As soon as Xiao entered the reincarnation realm, his body felt as if it was falling apart. His bones buzzed with pain, and his teeth ground loudly. Buzz, buzz. The eerie, ominous soul-devouring talisman detached from the Devourer of Souls and attached itself to Xiao. With this protection, Xiao pressure was greatly reduced. Otherwise, with his mid-stage 8-star Douxian power, he wouldn't be of any help and might even cause more trouble. If the Demon Emperor were to recover to his peak, even the Angel Kingdom would only have a few seraphim capable of handling him. This is going to be a brutal battle. The Devourer of Souls also felt tremendous pressure. Behind him, a ghostly blade and a blood-red bell materialized, seemingly evaporating the sacred aura within a dozen meters around them. The Devourer of Souls' strength, at this point, was probably at the 3rd level of reincarnation, though it seemed that he had borrowed the power of 3 evil artifacts, a less refined version of reincarnation. With these 3 evil artifacts, even ordinary 4th-tier experts wouldn't stand a chance. "Master, let me try this shattered artifact, the Eternal Ruler." Xiao gritted his teeth, watching the increasingly fierce attacks of the 2 opponents. A fierce gleam appeared in his eyes as he spoke in a deep voice. "Good. I will protect you." The Devourer of Souls nodded, placing all hope on Xiao and the Demon Emperor. Both of them were capable of controlling the power of the Divine Path, which could ignore the aura of light, while Xiao clan mark power could also disregard it. If it were him, the ghostly energy attacking the sacred angels would be greatly weakened. "Angel, that's Xiao. He's the incarnation of the devil. This current son of light was harmed by him. The soul of the killing spirit disappeared. The divine mark of the son of light scattered, and it's all his doing." Seeing Xiao and the Devourer of Souls joining the fight, Miffle suddenly roared at the angel Mira in the Sea of Light above. "Xiao! Xiao! Xiao!" Mira, the 7-winged angel, suddenly opened her pale eyes, halting her use of the angelic sacred power. A ring of light, like a shooting star, swept across the sky, heading straight for the Demon Emperor to suppress him. Boom, boom, boom. The Demon Emperor gathered the golden divine path power in his palm and launched a violent counterattack. The entire space was filled with an overwhelming burst of divine light, accompanied by the sacred sounds of divine chants, which even affected the Demon Emperor's ability to control his internal demonic power. Crack! Mira, without hesitation, her pale eyes flashing with a flicker of unstable emotion, suddenly trembled and sped toward Xiao position. At the same time, Mira, who had always remained calm, was struck by a shocked thought. Swallowing Great Realm. The Devourer of Souls hadn't expected Mira to change her target so abruptly. Watching her come with the power of thunder and lightning, he couldn't help but let out a low growl. Countless eerie vengeful spirits surged around him, howling to the sky and covering nearly half the area of the reincarnation realm. The ghostly energy surged, containing a unique power capable of devouring everything. Get away from me. Mira had no intention of wasting time with the Devourer of Souls. With a powerful wave of her slender hand, The Devourer of Souls was sent flying several hundred meters, and the swallowing realm was shattered without a fight. Damn it! Soul-extinguishing blade. Blood River Bell. Seeing this, the Devourer of Souls rose again, spitting out a drop of blood that fell onto the two evil artifacts. Endless evil light radiated from them, and there was even a faint, ominous pressure emanating. You are Xiao Yin? Mira arrived next to Xiao Yin, looking at him with the Eternal Ruler in hand, her expression serious as she whispered softly, "So what if I am?" At this close range with such a formidable expert, Xiao Yin felt his body freeze up, unable to respond. If it weren't for the last vestige of power in his body holding him together, he would have been mentally shattered by this angelic pressure. Listening to Xiao Yan's admission, Mira asked again. Her red lips slightly tightened, an unspeakable tension in the air. "In the Do-Di continent, I once saved someone. I think their name was Qingyuan." Xiao Yin was puzzled as to why this angel would ask such trivial questions. He immediately spoke, his internal energy beginning to stir, on the verge of exploding. "Demon Emperor, attack?" In an instant, seeing Mira in this state, the Devourer of Souls and the Demon Emperor transformed into beams of light, shooting out. Both of them were wielding powers of terrifying magnitude. Boom, boom, boom. At that moment, the 7 angelic wings behind Mira vanished, the overwhelming angelic pressure dissipating instantly. A beautiful, youthful smile, akin to that of a maiden, appeared on her cheeks, with 2 small dimples forming. The concept of fate in the mortal world is truly fascinating. After doing all this, Mira couldn't help but shake her head, her smile radiant. What's going on? Sensing the sudden disappearance of Mira's sacred and solemn battle intent, the Demon Emperor and the Devourer of Souls exchanged a confused glance. Their bodies froze mid-air, expressions filled with bewilderment. It seemed that after the angel simply asked Xiao Yin a few questions, her battle intent had completely vanished. What happened? With the angelic pressure lifted, Xiao Yin was as if nothing had happened. He couldn't help but ask the figure before him, "My lord, what are you doing?" The Demon Emperor is the one who destroyed the Holy Sea branch, and Xiao Yin is the embodiment of a demon. Even the Son of Light. Miffle was stunned for a moment, staring at the sudden turn of events, unable to speak. "Let this farce end here. Miffle, I will personally take the Son of Light back to the Angel Kingdom for judgment and investigation." "Your Majesty, Demon Emperor, Devourer of Souls, Xiao Yin, this matter ends here. The Holy Sea branch on the Doyun continent will now be unified by Cardinal Miller in red. After cleaning up the aftermath, the entire branch will completely leave here." Mira casually spoke to the high-ranking members of the Holy See below, her holy voice ringing high, irresistible. "Why? Why?" The Pope stared at Mira in disbelief, unable to understand what had just transpired. "Don't thank me. If you must thank someone, thank yourself. A single inadvertent act has triggered a new era. Had it not been for that act, I'm afraid all of you would have perished here today. Because he is the savior of the Angel Queen." As she spoke, Mira's body trembled, white feathers falling from her, repairing the shattered space around them. Her expression was wild, and after a breath, the Pope, still in shock, and the near-death Lu Hao, forcibly extracted from the Son of Light's divine mark, both sank into the sea of light, slowly disappearing. It was clear they were heading towards the Angel Kingdom. But what awaited them there was unlikely to be pleasant. Moments later, Gu Xingtian and the others below finally snapped back to reality. The dry sensation at the corners of their mouths made them realize they were still alive, having survived. Even the bloodstains on their skin and their weak internal power seemed to have been greatly replenished under the blessing of Mira's light breath. The crisis of the Do-Di continent is over. A bitter smile appeared on the faces of all the remaining strong figures in the world, but countless gazes were fixed on Xiao Yin, who was smiling wryly, his expression difficult to describe. "I didn't expect that girl to have such a terrifying background." Looking at the sky above, which had been easily restored to its former state by Mira's divine power, and the culprits who were taken away, Xiao Yin felt the many powers within him rapidly recovering under the angel's light and couldn't help but speak. Even though this disaster had ended in such a dramatic manner, it still felt surreal to Xiao Yin for several minutes afterward. When he first arrived in the Do-D continent, he happened to save a girl. Then, with the help of his uncle Golden Dragon King, he helped her awaken and finally sent her to a special space. What seemed like a trivial matter at the time had now set the stage for today's events. Back then, the Golden Dragon King had said this girl had an incredible background and would achieve great things in the future. Only now did Xiao Yin truly believe it. The girl named Qing Yuan had a terrifying identity within the Angel Kingdom. Terrifying enough to make the captain of the Patrol Angels, Mira, a 6-tier 7-winged powerhouse, change her expression instantly. This alone spoke volumes. The Angel Queen's 4-word divine authority still resided. Finally, it's over. After a moment, the Devourer of Souls and the Demon Emperor exchanged glances and bitterly smiled. They never imagined that this final conclusion would be handled by Xiao Yin alone. They couldn't help but take another look at him. This kid actually saved the Angel Queen? The Angel Queen was the goddess of the angel race. Her words and power transcended the entire great 1,000 worlds, and no one dared to oppose her. This guy. A moment later, Xiao Yin looked at the restored holy city of the Holy Sea and cautiously spoke up. Although that event was real, Mira seems to have been too decisive, don't you think? Come on. You brat, reaping the benefits but acting all coy. The angels have specialized methods to track your aura, so they won't mistake anyone. The Devourer of Souls appeared beside Xiao Yin, patting his body with a grin. Below, countless powerful beings were all bustling about, cherishing their survival after the calamity. We need to leave. Staying here for too long will attract the attention of the powerful beings from the center of the human realm. That could cause trouble. The Demon Emperor and Lu Yun embraced each other and approached Xiao Yin. Lu Yun had successfully been saved, and now the Demon Emperor would likely continue his journey to restore his strength. Xiao Yin and the Devourer of Souls both nodded in agreement, clearly satisfied with the couple before them. Thud. The Demon Emperor and Lu Yun didn't linger for long. The Demon Emperor casually tore open a time-space rift, and the two instantly disappeared, leaving the final victory to Xiao Yin and his group. However, when they meet again, whether it's Xiao Yin or the Demon Emperor, their strength will likely undergo a terrifying transformation. We've already started investigating the matters of the Xiao clan, but clearly, this is not the time for you to worry about such things. With the Holy Seas branch leaving the Doyun continent and no major sect remaining on the Do-D continent, this place might be a good opportunity for you. I have high hopes for you. The Devourer of Souls put away the soul-devouring talisman, standing in the void before heading towards the ghost realm. In his last words, he pointed out a path for Xiao Yin. Farewell, master. Xiao Yin nodded deeply, fully understanding the immense risk the great beings took by entering the human realm without any legitimate reason. With the crisis now over, they would naturally return to their respective realms to avoid causing further trouble. However, Xiao Yin would always remember this favor. After all, no one helps for no reason. Xiao Yin. Kid. This time we won. You are the greatest contributor to this battle. Gu Xingtian, Gu Abyss, and the others approached Xiao Yin. Smiling as they spoke, their voices filled with praise. Without Xiao Yin, this battle's outcome would have been entirely unpredictable. With the strength of a mid to late 8-star Do Xian, the sacred flame, his status as an alchemist, and even as the savior of the Angel Queen from the Angel Kingdom in the Great 1,000 Worlds, Xiao Yin's identity now surpassed that of all the powerful beings around him. Even the many Grand Elders from the Reincarnation Realm treated Xiao Yin as an equal, respecting him and no longer daring to underestimate him. Everyone, please return. The Holy Sea's rule has been completely shattered today. The Do-D continent will soon be revitalized, and it will prosper like never before. Xiao Yin cupped his hands and smiled at the powerful beings. As for unifying the entire Do-D continent, there was no rush. With the shock from this event, it was only a matter of time. Since that's the case, we'll take our leave. Lord Domain Master Xiao Yin, your great power is truly awe-inspiring. We shall visit you to offer our thanks on another day. Polite voices rang out as the powerful beings began to depart from the holy city. As for the remaining holy city guards, Miller and the Cardinal in Red would deal with them. You all can leave as well. There should be many things to attend to among the ancient 7 clans. Afterward, we can discuss the future of the Do-D continent. As he watched the super sect powerhouses leave, Xiao, surrounded by the heads and grand elders of the ancient clans, couldn't help but roll his eyes. He knew their intentions, but Xiao had his own plans. The reputation of Xiao, the Lord of the Boundless Fire Domain, would need time to spread, and this event was the perfect opportunity to shake the entire continent. In 1 month, at the Doyun Holy Altar, we will hold another meeting. As for the purpose of the meeting, I believe you already understand, right? Gu Xingtian slowly spoke, his tone rather teasing, clearly not willing to let Xiao off easily. All right. Xiao nodded, smiling casually. With that, the powerful beings left the holy city one by one, retreating to rest and recover, awaiting the meeting at the holy altar a month later. In a month, the rules of the Doyun continent would likely be redefined, and as for the so-called rulers of those rules, the choice was now clear. The scattering of forces was merely to allow each faction to reorganize. Far off at the edge of the Doyun continent, Old Feng, the location of the Holy See, seems to have become shrouded in mist. Is that right? At that moment, a few powerful beings from the Feng clan, who had been caught in a trap of light, stumbled out. Their gazes were fixed on the Holy See's location, where the fluctuations had slowly settled. Not good, we must leave. The void of the continent was sealed, and they could only travel on flying magical beasts, wasting a great deal of time. Even when they finally reached the edge of the Doyun continent, they fell into the Pope's light trap, wasting a prime opportunity for battle. Wait, has the spatial seal disappeared? A few powerful figures behind them muttered in surprise. What's going on? The void here is completely intact? When they arrived at the Holy See's sacred city, many attendants had already started packing, and there was a faint sign of a large-scale movement by the Holy See. The battle is probably over. Let's return to the Boundless Fire Domain. Feng Wanner's eyes flickered with a hint of sharpness as the void collapsed, and she suddenly made her way back to the Boundless Fire Domain. The end of the disaster in the Holy See's sacred city and the deeds of Xiao would undoubtedly spread in a very short time. After all, the powerful beings who had survived the catastrophe were there, so Xiao didn't need to worry too much. In just a few days, the entire Do-D continent would know. Meanwhile, the headquarters of the Boundless Fire Domain was located on the Xinling Mountain of the Xinling continent. At this time, many figures were busy, and various departments were clearly divided, keeping the Boundless Fire Domain running while also infusing it with fresh blood. The Matriarch Hall was a grand palace within the Boundless Fire Domain, and it was where the 2 matriarchs handled the daily affairs of the domain. It was solemn and imposing. Here, all commands were personally issued by the 2 matriarchs, and only with their approval could a command be carried out. As a result, the Boundless Fire Domain had not experienced any major issues over a long period. This won't do. I need to go check it out. In the empty hall, Kai Lin sat on a golden-purple seat, her cold eyes revealing deep concern. She clearly didn't have time to check the letter on the desk. A dazzling multicolored glow appeared around her body, and there was a trace of intention to head toward the Doyun continent. Sister Kai Lin. At this moment, seeing Kai Lin so restless, Mu Yingying gently placed her slender hand on Kai Lin's fragrant shoulder and didn't speak much, as the 2 of them shared the same thoughts. The Holy See's power is too great. They have the strength to dominate the entire Do-D continent. The Boundless Fire Domain is already on the right track. Even if I'm not here, with your help, it can still operate smoothly. I have to go this time. Kai Lin's eyes were extremely firm. The long absence of news from Xiao had struck a deep chord in her heart. Having controlled the Boundless Fire Domain for so long, she was naturally well aware of the Holy Seas and Doyun continent's significance on the entire Do-D continent. No, Sister Kai Lin, I am already his person. This time, I'll go with you. Let's go. Mu Yingying smiled sweetly, and 2 flames intertwined in the cold hall. A spatial rift appeared, tearing apart the void in the hall. "Let's go." Seeing this, Kai Lin nodded slightly. Then the two women held hands and stepped into the void together. Buzz buzz. At the same time, a strange movement began within a certain spatial passage in the hall. Golden flames transformed into several golden crows, slowly illuminating the hall with their dazzling light, their brilliant golden flames blinding to the eye. It seemed as though a figure was about to emerge. "What is this?" Mu Yingying asked in confusion. This aura seemed quite extraordinary, and there were even fluctuations from the sacred flame. Xun'er has emerged from seclusion. Kai Lin casually closed the spatial rift and then held Mu Yingying's hand, quietly looking at the distant void. This place had already been connected to the underground palace of the boundless fire domain. So if Xun'er came out of seclusion, she would appear here immediately. Is this Xun'er? At that moment, Mu Yingying couldn't help but lower her head in shame. For some unknown reason, her chest began to tremble slightly, as if she were extremely fearful of this figure. "Sister Kai Lin, long time no see. You're becoming more and more beautiful." Xun'er walked out from the golden flames with a graceful step, smiling as she approached Kai Lin, clearly delighted. "You too." Kai Lin smiled as she looked at Xun'er. After her seclusion, Xun'er's strength had become even more formidable. "By the way, where is Xiao? Xun'er suddenly remembered something and quickly asked with concern. However, she keenly noticed that the woman behind Kai Lin seemed to have something on her mind. Moreover, her gaze couldn't even meet Xun'er's, and it seemed like she was subtly avoiding her, as if she were afraid of her. "Xiao has gone to the Holy See. We were just about to head over there. Come with us." When Kai Lin spoke, her voice was filled with rare coldness. What happened? Xun'er felt a sudden chill in her heart, and an ominous premonition began to rise. Powerful beings from across the continent have gathered their forces to attack the Holy See. They are now surrounding the sacred city. A great battle is imminent, Kai Lin said. As she spoke, Xun'er didn't have time for anything else. Her body trembled as she hurriedly prepared to break through the void and head toward the Doyun continent. As the new generation leader of the Gu clan, Xun'er naturally knew a lot about the Holy See's information, and thus, she was well aware that trying to overthrow such a colossal force was pure nonsense. "By the way, miss, may I ask?" Just as the three women were about to leave, Xun'er suddenly turned her gaze toward Mu Yingying and unexpectedly asked. From what Xun'er knew about Kai Lin, this woman's close relationship with her meant she must have an important position. Mu Yingying froze at the question, her body stiffening in midair. She looked up, her eyes locking with Xun'er, and only then did she fully take in Xun'er's delicate figure. Her graceful, flowing 3,000 strands of hair fell down. Her exquisite face, small and lively features, captivating eyes, all painted her figure like that of a fairy, flawless and breathtakingly beautiful. At that moment, Xun'er gazed into Mu Yingying's eyes and noticed something that made her body involuntarily shudder, as if struck by lightning. Impossible. She couldn't believe it. From the look in Mu Yingying's eyes, Xun'er realized something, and her body instinctively shrank back. That's right. She is Xiao Yan's third. At this moment, Kai Lin, with a helpless expression, stepped forward to explain. Impossible. Seeing this, Xun'er's eyes flashed with a trace of anger. She growled, and the void around her suddenly collapsed by several meters, as if being devoured by some mysterious giant beast. As a woman, and once the proud daughter of one of the largest families on the Doqi continent, Xun'er had a strong possessiveness toward Xiao Yan. But Kai Lin's appearance forced her to silently endure it. If love could be divided in two, then if another piece were to be taken away, Xun'er would probably lose control completely. The Xinling continent was Xiao Yan's first stop after arriving in the Great Thousand Worlds. Her name is Mu Yingying. She was once a sacred flame on the sacred flame ranking, and to search for her brother, she transformed into a human and entered the Xinling continent. She met Xiao Yan, went through many events, and even sacrificed herself in the end to save Xiao Yan, ultimately losing her life. Kai Lin slowly walked towards Xun'er, her tone warm and sisterly, as if comforting and gently provoking her at the same time. knowing that this would eventually be revealed. No, stop saying more. Xun'er's mood plummeted. Her lips curled in anger, her face twisted with an intimidating rage. Kailin, stop talking. I'm leaving. Seeing Xun'er's powerful stance, Mu Yingying couldn't help but purse her lips before turning and walking toward the hall's exit. Heh. Xun'er raised her delicate hand and shot out a blast toward a shadow in the hall. Ryup. The shadow had no time to react and was struck directly, revealing a familiar male figure. Three queens, please spare me. Xiao scratched his head innocently and looked at the three women, who were now glaring at him. Xun'er, are you jealous? Seeing Xun'er chase Xiao around the hall in anger, Mu Yingying covered her mouth and smiled. At this moment, both Kailin and Xun'er silently accepted her presence, a long-lost sense of relief and happiness lingering in Mu Yingying's heart. 1 month later. The next day, warm sunlight bathed the entire earth. On Doyun continent, representatives from dozens of major sects and ancient clans hurriedly set out early in the morning, heading toward the Holy Sea's sacred city. In addition, on the other 3 continents of the Do-Di continent, many powerful figures, with considerable status and strength, were also heading toward the sacred city of the Holy See. Apart from Doyun continent, almost all of these figures were under the command of the Boundless Fire Domain. Some common citizens couldn't help but look up at the prominent figures appearing and disappearing in the vast void, sensing that something was about to change. The upcoming events on Do-Di continent would surely bring about a new power structure. However, whoever took the place of the Holy See would revive the entire Do-Di continent. The Great Thousand Worlds had been in constant turmoil behind the scenes, and the situation was far from safe. If the 4 continents of Do-Di didn't have a strong force in control, they might be invaded by lurking powers. In just 1 month, all sects and forces had recovered their strength. After Miller, the Cardinal in Red, and Lu Qing returned, they reorganized the remnants of the Holy See with the help of the angels and moved everything out of the Do-Di continent. As a result, the sacred city now stood empty, with only the grand halls left behind. Meanwhile, the sacred city had turned into a tense conference hall. As for the subject of the day, it seemed to be about selecting a new dominant power to represent Do-Di continent. The seniors from the 7 ancient clans have arrived. The Star Princess from Tianqing continent has also arrived. Inside a spacious conference room within the Holy City, Xiao sat at the head of the table. Beside him, Kailin scanned the room with her beautiful eyes and spoke. As for Mu Yingying and Xun'er, one represented the Gu clan and the other the Boundless Fire Domain, both of them sitting with a certain domineering presence on either side. The room housed around 100 people, all of whom exuded formidable auras. They were all elites from their respective regions, the top figures who could represent the major forces in the Do-Di continent. The mere fact that they were present was a clear indication of their power and status, as these were the most influential forces on the continent. Since everyone is here, let us begin discussing the main issue, Xiao said as he stood up, politely cupping his hands in a respectful gesture towards the gathered powerhouses. Among the 100 individuals present, aside from Xiao and the 3 women, who were relatively young, most were middle-aged or elderly, with high social standing and great experience. As such, Xiao gesture was necessary and fitting. Xiao respectful manner greatly increased the regard in which the powerhouses held him. On top of that, rumors had it that he had ties with the Angel Kingdom, and with his strength being at the mid to late 8-star Do Xian stage, he was undeniably the focal point of this meeting. I wonder if Brother Xiao has any plans? A familiar-looking elder, smiling with a hint of smugness in his expression, asked as the discussion turned to the topic at hand. The old monster Yun Fuxing of the Yunlan Pavilion, a super sect on the Doyun continent, an 8-star Do Xian at the late stage. Not bad, but still quite decent in strength. Xiao nodded at the elder, and after a moment of thought, he spoke again. However, this late 8-star Do Xian strength posed no threat to him. The ancient 7 clans had already tacitly allowed the Boundless Fire Domain to become the dominant force on the Do-Di continent. This meeting, of course, was to address other forces that harbored some discontent. Even the ancient 7 clans, with their reincarnation powerhouses, hadn't said much about it. For such a super sect, one that didn't even have a perfect 8-star dossier among its ranks, it was, in Xiao Yan's view, far too presumptuous. Although Brother Xiao Yan has close ties with the Angel Kingdom, you are still quite young. Therefore, I propose that such a major matter be decided through a vote. The elder continued. Moreover, among the 7 clans, whether it's the clan leaders or the grand elders, their authority likely far surpasses that of Brother Xiao Yan. I am merely speaking the truth. I hope Brother Xiao Yan will not misunderstand me, Yun Fuxing quickly added, realizing he might have overstepped. Hearing this, the 100 people turned their attention to Yun Fuxing. Facing the elder's sarcasm and questioning, Xiao Yan smiled calmly and replied, "The Holy See has already been dismantled, and the shadow of its rule over the Dodi continent for thousands of years has completely disappeared. However, due to the unique nature of the Dodi continent, the departure of the Holy See means that a strong force must step up. Otherwise, this land will be invaded by other continents from the human realm. As for the purpose of today's meeting, it is quite clear. The ancient 7 clans have already agreed with my approach, and as a junior, I respectfully suggest to all of you elders." "What are you suggesting?" Yun Fuxing's heart sank as he asked. "Today is the day my boundless fire domain becomes the new overlord of the Dodi continent. If any of you are dissatisfied, feel free to take action against me." Xiao Yan's voice turned colder as he spoke. "If I am defeated by any one of you here, I will never bring this matter up again. However, if after this you still disagree, then I will have no choice but to forcibly expel your entire sect from the Dodi continent." Xiao Yan's gaze grew darker, and he glared at Yun Fuxing with a fierce intensity, causing the elder to feel a deep sense of dread. This guy. The powerhouses in the room, hearing Xiao Yan's arrogant words, felt a chill in their eyes and muttered under their breath. "Heh, everyone, do not worry," Xiao Yan continued, his voice steady. "What I mean is for all the forces on the Dodi continent to unite under the banner of the boundless fire domain, creating a truly transcendent force. Those of you here will share in the resources of the boundless fire domain, help each other in times of difficulty, and the boundless fire domain will not interfere with your sect's territories or internal matters. Of course, if you disagree, I am afraid I will have no choice but to use force and expel your entire sect from the Dodi continent. After today, this continent will only recognize the boundless fire domain as the sole representative force. At the same time, the clan leaders from the ancient races, including Gu Abyss, rose slightly from their seats, smiling as they spoke. In that case, we shall join the boundless fire domain. The 7 ancient clans will follow your orders, boundless fire domain. The 4 symbols sect will join as well." Seeing the leaders of the ancient 7 clans take the lead, the other powerhouses behind them did not hesitate for long. One by one, they expressed their agreement with the theme of the meeting. Building a new force was an urgent matter, but their biggest concern was whether the boundless fire domain would meddle in the internal affairs of their sections. The meeting proceeded surprisingly smoothly, even though several sects had concerns. After a brief pause, those concerns were quickly and decisively resolved. With the infusion of power from these individuals, the development of the boundless fire domain will grow exponentially. It's likely that, in the near future, the strength of the boundless fire domain will rival the Holy See, or even surpass it. Once the union of the boundless fire domain was completed, the entire Dodi continent experienced unprecedented unity. The 4 continents began sharing resources, and the strength and resource reserves of the other 3 continents rapidly began to catch up with the Doyun continent. In the past, due to the influence of the Holy See and the Doyun continent, resources were concentrated, leaving the other 3 continents increasingly barren. Now, under the rule of the boundless fire domain, the resources of the 4 continents are being more evenly distributed. Additionally, several spatial channels have been established between them, making it easier to offer support, send aid, and transmit resources and information. This has led to a vibrant and prosperous network. The name of Xiao Yan, the domain lord of the boundless fire domain, has become widely known across the Dodi continent. After all, the Union has provided all factions with resources and assistance from the boundless fire domain, earning it much goodwill. Although these resources were drawn from the ancient races, they are content with the arrangement. Naturally, these old-timers understand the saying, "The bigger the tree, the more the shade." Currently, the most talked about figures are the three incredibly beautiful matrons of the Boundless Fire domain. After unifying the Do-D continent, the daily operations of the Boundless Fire domain have been managed by these three matrons. Whether it be strength, beauty, or strategy, they have earned the respect of countless people. In contrast, Xiao, the domain lord, has seemingly disappeared from the Boundless Fire domain, not making an appearance at all. As for the treasures from the Holy See, they were taken by Miller and Lu Qing. After the catastrophe at the Holy See, the two were too ashamed to meet Xiao again. The Yao clan's forbidden land is a lush green valley, filled with the songs of birds and the fragrance of flowers. The air is thick with the vitality of life. At the center of the valley, on a slightly raised platform, Xiao sits, eyes closed, absorbing the energy. With each breath, a mysterious soul force emanates from him, seemingly profound and enigmatic. Beside him sits an elderly man, hunched and frail in appearance. He is Yao Tianma, the Grand Elder of the Yao clan, and an 8th grade sacred class alchemist. Your breath control is nearly perfect, Yao Tianma observed, smiling with appreciation. With your soul power having reached the Hua Yuan level, you're now ready to challenge the 8th grade sacred class alchemist rank. 10 days after the meeting concluded, Xiao, having reassured the three women, entrusted the affairs of the Boundless Fire domain to them. He then entered the Yao clan and focused entirely on listening to Yao Tianma's teachings, preparing to comprehend the path to becoming an 8th grade sacred class alchemist. In those 10 days, Yao Tianma thoroughly explained everything, and Xiao had gained many insights. His strength was returning to its peak, and with Yao Tianma by his side, it was the perfect time to push for a breakthrough. An 8th grade sacred class alchemist is not just an ordinary alchemist, Yao Tianma continued. Even with the lowest grade of medicinal ingredients, we can concoct truly miraculous pills. However, the intricate process deters many alchemists. Precious materials are, of course, the best foundation for crafting sacred pills. To break through, you must use your soul power to feel the world, to seize a fragment of the ethereal sacred soul essence from the heavens and earth. Only after passing the thunder tribulation will you truly transform into a sacred class alchemist. Before your breakthrough, no matter how talented you are, without external aid, you won't be able to craft a sacred pill. Yao Tianma smiled. Understood, Xiao nodded. The pill he previously crafted had already been given to Kai Lin, but he knew that his success during the Yao clan's grand ceremony had been a stroke of luck. If he tried now, making a sacred pill would be extremely difficult. Without reaching the 8th grade sacred class, he couldn't make a sacred pill. Let's begin. I will protect you, Yao Tianma said as he waved his hand. Thick, emerald green energy like liquid wrapped around the entire forbidden valley of the Yao clan, sealing it completely. The rich life force filled the air, providing a sense of comfort for Xiao. Suddenly, Xiao closed his eyes. His spiritual palace inside his body began to stir, and countless soul energies surged forth. The immense soul power caused the entire valley to tremble slightly, shaking the ground in a profound display of force. Truly an undeniable little monster. It seems every descendant of the Xiao clan is terrifying. It's a pity that, back then, many of the Xiao clan's elders were too stubborn to follow the clan's lead and venture into the great thousand worlds. Although the Do-D continent is a top-ranking realm in the human realm, it still falls short of the very top. Seeing Xiao in such a state, Yao Tianma couldn't help but smile wryly, his voice filled with a sense of weariness. Whoosh, whoosh. With Yao Tianma's guidance, Xiao breakthrough to the 8th grade sacred class was inevitable. On the other side, atop Xinling Mountain, the headquarters of the Boundless Fire domain, Xiao Zifan, Mu Feng, and the others sat quietly, handling various matters for the Boundless Fire domain. However, these individuals were clearly being kept in seclusion by the Boundless Fire domain and were not meant to be seen easily. Otherwise, Xiao Zifan, a descendant of the Xiao clan, along with Luo Minglan and the Sacred Flame, would likely stir up quite a commotion. But it must be said that within the Great Thousand Worlds, The 36 sacred flames were incredibly precious, and it was likely that nearly 10 of them were under the command of the boundless fire domain, which was truly terrifying. The entire Do-D continent was peaceful, with favorable weather and a prosperous country. Far away, in the Soul Clan's Soul Realm on Doyun continent. Buzz. At the Soul Clan's leader Hun Tianhao's stronghold, the place was heavily guarded. Inside the buildings, the void subtly shifted as Hun Tianhao's figure appeared. Phew, at least nothing went wrong. Having just returned to his stronghold, Hun Tianhao scanned the area, checking his room for any suspicious auras. With a casual wave of his hand, a chilling ghostly chi barrier sealed the room tightly. After completing this, Hun Tianhao snapped his fingers, and instantly, for icy, lifeless bodies appeared on the ground. The bodies were devoid of any warmth or life, but upon careful observation, it was easy to tell that they were no ordinary corpses. Their fluctuations revealed that all four had reached the reincarnation stage. If an elder from the ancient races were present, they would immediately recognize their identities. They were the four rulers of the plains from the Do-D continent. The heavenly emperor in the human realm must also be overwhelmed by the extraterritorial evil clan's activities, which is why he has no time to deal with these matters. To send 4 plane guardians to the Do-D continent, they truly are willing to invest. As he spoke, a pale white flame slowly emerged from his fingertips, easily wrapping around the 4 corpses. At that moment, the void burst open with a violent explosion, releasing an ominous and powerful force, incredibly profound. Whoosh! As soon as the pale white flame touched the bodies, they immediately evaporated into nothingness. Even the corpses of reincarnation powerhouses vanished in an instant. Within the flame, faint divine auras could be felt rising, the kind of presence that was suffocating and far beyond mere reincarnation. This won't do. Xiao Yan's strength still hasn't reached the peak of this world. It seems I need to apply more pressure. Heh. With a casual wave, the 4 individuals were completely obliterated. A strange smile appeared on Hun Tianhao's lips. The ominous aura and the pale white flame were not in proportion, yet this power was so subtle that even the demon emperor would likely fail to detect it. The day the Xiao clan appears, the great thousand cataclysm will begin. Make it quick. The elegant and confident voice lingered, before everything fell silent.